Hello and welcome to the Gailblade News. British Vogue editor Edwin Enniful has said he was racially profiled after being told to use the loading bay by a security guard as he entered work. Enniful, who has been editor-in-chief of the fashion magazine since 2017, said the incident happened as he walked into his offices on Wednesday. In a social media post, he said Condé Nast, which owns British Vogue, moved quickly to dismiss the security guard, but he said change needs to happen now. Enniful, who was appointed an OBE in 2016 for services to diversity in the fashion industry, wrote on Twitter, "Today I was racially profiled by a security guard whilst entering my workplace. As I entered, I was instructed to use the loading bay. Just because our timelines and weekends are returning to normal, we cannot let the world return to how it was." In a separate post to his 1 million Instagram followers, he said, "It just goes to show that sometimes it doesn't matter what you've achieved in the course of your life. The first thing that some people will judge you on is the colour of your skin." It is understood the security guard, who works for a third-party contractor, was dismissed from the site immediately and placed under investigation by their employer. Earlier this month, when accepting an industry award for his work at the magazine, Enniful said, "It would be disingenuous of me not to point out that I am the first black person to ever win this award, the first black person in 40 years. Diversity is making its way into our commissioning and onto our pages. But what about inside our workplaces? Who are we hiring? Who are we nurturing? Who are we promoting? How do our offices' environments treat people who is allowed to get to the top?" When he took the helm of British Vogue 3 years ago, Enniful said he hoped to create a more diverse magazine that was open and friendly. "Mr. Vogue is about being inclusive," he said at the time. "It is about diversity, showing different women, different body shapes, different races, different classes, and tackling gender." So what do you think of this incident? Of course, it needs to be said that this person was a third-party contractor, so it could have been one of his first days. He could have not been, there for that long. He might have just been used as just a general employee, just to fill in. I used to work a lot with like contract catering, so if we got agency staff in, it would be whoever the agency could supply on the day. You didn't really have quality, so you just got whomever. You just got another body in the building. That was it. That's essentially what I think just happened. You ended up with someone with this kind of attitude, and I don't think you're necessarily going to ever change that person's attitude. Regardless of them losing that job, they'll go into another workplace, they'll move on to something else, and it really doesn't matter. They're not going to change their mindset. That's just how things happen. Expecting people to change their mindset about these things is also a bit of a double standard, when probably you yourself have various aspects that people might not like, and I don't think you have the right to necessarily condemn everyone. Essentially, what this guy, the British Vogue editor, is he's gotten to the place he has. Regardless of him complaining about it, he's at a position where he is now, in a sense, privileged in his own right. That means whilst he can say about it, he no longer is at the same foundations as people who are actually in equal times, and therefore he can point it out, but he is no longer the example that has been set. Whatever you think, leave your comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.